Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Eva. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing and swatching 13 new blushes across 4 different new blush launches. We are going to be reviewing all 3 shades of the new colors of the Kosas Blush is Life formula. We are going to be talking about a new product from Kylie Cosmetics. These are the new Hybrid Blushes. We're going to be talking about the new Beauty Pie Glowy Stick Blushes. And then last, but definitely not least, we are going to be reviewing the new SOSHE blush launch. I am so excited to talk about this launch and all of the others. So if you're interested in seeing how all of these blushes look on someone with fair skin and also are interested in hearing more about the formula, then go ahead and keep on watching. The good news about today's video is the white background that I wanted finally came back in stock. Shout out BH Photo. It arrived in like 2 to 3 days. So hopefully the background will be a little bit less distracting. The bad news is that a storm is rolling through Austin, Texas right now, and I still don't have my microphone set up on my camera quite yet. It's the next project now that I have the backdrop figured out. So you will hear potentially a storm and then the AC going off because it is a summer storm in Texas. So it is 90 degrees and raining. As usual, everything I'm talking about will be linked down below. I promise I will remember to link all of the makeup that I'm currently wearing right now down below as well, because you guys are so nice and have been asking me lately about what I'm wearing during the talking portions of my video. So everything will be linked, and it's an amazing way to support my channel if you choose to shop any of my affiliate links down below. Let's start off by talking about the beautiful new blush shades from Kosas. These are in their Blush is Life formula, which is one of my favorite blush formulas available at Sephora. I will link up above. I purchased a bunch of them when they first launched and did a review. I love any sort of baked swirly marbled blush. I am a sucker for that. Something I really like about this formula is it is very blendable. So even though these shades really pack a punch, they're buildable and they are blendable. So if you do go overboard, there is a path to correction. For the cheek swatches, which I will go ahead and insert here, for the video, I ended up doing my attempt at more natural, how the blush should be worn. And then I also ended up building up to what I call clown cheeks, because that is some feedback that I received before, that some people like seeing the product really built up so they know how it may look on someone with a deeper complexion. So we will go ahead and roll these swatches. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions about Wavelength versus Heartbeat. So here you can see them on my cheeks. Heartbeat is more coral. Wavelength has more of that red undertone to it. I really like all 3 of these shades. I will say that Heartbeat and Wavelength, even though they are different, they did pull kind of similar on my skin tone. At least that was my impression when I was looking in the viewfinder. So I would say if you are trying to narrow down your selection, I would pick up either Wavelength and Heartbeat. And then if you want a berry color, Chills is so beautiful, but I don't think you need both of these. Next, let's talk about this new launch from Beauty Pie. These are the Luxe Shine Blush Sticks. These retail for $30 if you do not have a Beauty Pie membership, or $18 if you do have a Beauty Pie membership. So the way Beauty Pie works is you can pay a membership, so then all of the other items that you're purchasing are at a lower price point, kind of similar to if you're familiar with Few Moda. That's a fashion website that does something very similar. So you can either purchase these for $18 or for $30. And these are made in Italy, and the claims are a creamy, illuminating cheek stick for an instant radiant glow. The meltingly soft demi-sheer texture glides onto skin, creating subtle, soft definition. 2 super flattering shades infused with nourishing oil and antioxidant vitamin E. Delicate, summery scent. Okay, I don't really notice a scent. Interesting. It just smells like I don't know, a face oil to me. So if you are sensitive to fragrance, yes, these have fragrance, but it is not noticeable to me. Like, I didn't notice it until I read the description. So I do really like these. I do think the packaging is pretty cheap and chintzy, to be honest. I would expect for a $30 price point for those who are purchasing without the membership, for the packaging to be a little bit weightier. I don't know. They just feel very cheap, and they feel very similar in packaging to the Versed stick blushes that came out, but those are a drugstore price. However, I will say if you are a member for $18, I think the packaging is perfectly fine. This next launch, I am so excited to talk about. The brand was kind enough to send me these blushes, but I would have purchased all of them the day they launched regardless, because I love this brand. Oh, I should tell you, the brand is SOSHE Beauty. I own a bunch of products from them. I found out about the brand through Amanda Z here on YouTube, but I love their eyeliners. I love their lipsticks, their lip liners, just a great brand. So when I found out that they were going to be launching blushes, I gasped, because every formulation that they have put out to date has been phenomenal, and I just knew these were going to be amazing, and I was not let down. First, let's go through the claims according to the website. So these claim to be a feather light cushiony blush that melts on like a cream, blurs like a powder, and leaves a soft lit finish, infused with skin-loving ingredients for all-day comfort. These do come in 4 shades, and they retail for $28, and they are a cream to powder blush. I am trying to think about how I even describe how cool this blush formula is. I have never felt a blush formula like this. It is super squishy. Like, so squishy. If we're thinking of squishy, you might be thinking, okay, the newer Rare Beauty blushes, the MAC Glow Play blushes, the like OG Maybelline, I don't remember what those were called, blushes. No, this is so much more unique because they're super squishy, but they're also ridiculously pigmented. Like, I barely put my finger on this, and look at that. Look at that. And it is super wet, the formula. Like, it feels like a hybrid almost, I would say, between a liquid blush and a cream blush. That is how hydrating, or that is how like almost like wet and squishy this blush feels, but it blends out like a powder. It is crazy. I don't know how to properly explain it, but I'm hoping that my excitement is shining through, because this blush formula is so cool. What I love about this, in addition to just like how fun it is to squish it, is that it really is a flexible formula where if you want, you can apply it with a blush brush. They did launch a brush as well. So this is a denser brush that is angled, and this does a great job of dispensing the product and blending it out, but it also blends out beautifully with just your fingers. The way I like to apply it is I like to go in with the brush, apply it, and then I like to like tap my fingers to really push it into the skin and blend it out. But if you wanted to and you were on the go, you could just apply it with your fingers. You don't need to use a brush. I also think the color line of these are absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and roll a clip of all of the colors here so you can see how beautiful they are and then how beautifully they swatch. Let's go ahead and roll the cheek swatch footage. hope my enthusiasm is really reaching through the camera because I am so excited about this blush launch. Something else cool about this launch that I want to mention is these are all refillable. So when you are done with the product, there is a way to snap it out of the back. I don't want to do that now and have it fly across and stain my new background and my white shirt, but that is something that I did want to mention. So cannot recommend these enough. These are without a doubt my favorite blush launch of the year so far. We are midway through, so there are 6 more months for brands to wow me, but these are just so unique. They're so fun to put on, and the 4 shades they came out with are beautiful. I can't wait to see what shades they come out with next. I would love maybe like more of like a dusty nude shade and then maybe like a corally shade. So SOSHE, if you're watching and you're listening, add those to your next color expansion. Next up, we have a brand that I like never really talk about on this channel because I rarely purchase products from this brand, but this is from Kylie Cosmetics, and this is her new Hybrid Blush. These retail for $22. They're available at Ulta and on the Kylie website. Obviously, I purchased them from Ulta because I wanted my points. And let me explain a little bit more about these blushes and kind of what drew me to purchase them. Because as I mentioned, I rarely use Kylie Cosmetics. I haven't tried a ton because the brand, from what I've heard, is very hit or miss. But the reason why I was intrigued by this is because it is a hybrid formula. So the claims are it is a silky, weightless, buildable formula that melts into the skin like a cream blush with the soft focus smoothing effects of a powder. So that drew me in because I was like, ooh, innovative blush formula. Let's try it and see if it sucks or if it's great. I have to say that I think this formula is great. But before we jump into why, let's quickly touch on the packaging. It is a soft touch pale pink, and then it does have Kylie Cosmetics embossed on the front. I think the packaging is nice. I also like that they do have a little mirror in here, and you get a decent amount of product. I feel like $22 is a pretty fair price for a blush that is more of an innovative formula and in decent packaging with a mirror. My experience with this blush has been a very positive one. I tested one a couple weeks ago and really liked it, and then of course I tested all of the shades for today's video. I find that the claims are very true. It does apply like a cream blush, but then it does smooth out and blur your skin like a blurring blush. It is really, really interesting. Now, you might be wondering, how do these feel compared to the SOSHE or the Rare Beauty? These, I would say, are the most powdery of those 3. So it does apply like a cream blush and you can squish it a little bit, but this is the most dry of those 3 formulas. So like the least creamy of the 3. And I don't say that as a knock. I'm just saying that because that is my observation. For application, there are a couple ways that I like to apply this. You could either apply it with more of like a dense cream blush brush, like the 109 from BK Beauty, or if you want to really diffuse the product, you can go in with something very fluffy. I went in with this old Christian Dior Kabuki brush that I randomly rediscovered and really like. But either of those work because it is that true hybrid formula. I find that you can use either like a cream blush brush or you can go in with what you maybe would normally do for a powder blush. Let me go ahead and roll the footage here of all of the beautiful shades as well as the cheek swatches. Here we have them all swatched. So we have Petal, Winter Kissed, Slow Jam, Ladybug, and Summer Sorbet. Staring at my little desk in front of me with all of these blushes I just tried, I do want to talk about like my top recommendations because a normal person isn't going to buy all of these. So my number one recommendation, in case you couldn't tell, is going to be the SOSHE blush. It's going to be hard for me to pick just one shade, but if I had to pick one that I would recommend, it would be Speakeasy, which is a dusty mauve. They do also have a beautiful lipstick in this shade too, so I like that they are kind of using a popular color that's already in their lineup and expanding it to a blush. My next recommendation would be the Kylie Cosmetic blushes. To be honest, I never thought I'd be on this channel like raving about a Kylie Cosmetics product, but these are really good and they're $22. Like, I do feel like that's a pretty fair price point. As far as favorite shades, I loved all the ones I tried, but Ladybug and then Winter Kissed 2.0 are standouts for me. I feel like a lot of like really cool toned pinks sometimes don't actually show up on the skin because I don't know, like they just aren't pigmented enough, but this one I think is absolutely beautiful. You can make it look really natural, or if you really want to, I don't know, make yourself look very pastel-y, you can really build it up. And then Ladybug was just such a beautiful wearable, like tomatoey red/pink for summer. So those would be my top two recommendations. For the Beauty Pie ones, again, I need to test these more. My first impression was these were fine. I wasn't blown away, but if you're already placing a Beauty Pie order or you're interested in joining and you need to figure out what product to get, I would probably recommend getting the Terra Rosa. I just think it's a little bit more of a universal shade for year round. For the new Kosas shades, it's hard for me to pick a favorite, but the one I'll probably be reaching for the most because of my skin tone and coloring is going to be Wavelength. But if you know you like this formula, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those shades. Thank you so much for tuning in to my video. Please give me feedback on if this setup is better. Also on the lighting, I heard some feedback that it was washing me out too much, so it was making it too difficult to see the product. So I did adjust the lighting to try to make it a little bit more of natural lighting, but it's hard. I don't get natural sunlight in this room or really any rooms in our house. So yeah, let me know if this is an improvement or if you preferred having them brighter like last time. And then if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, follow me on Instagram. And if you choose to purchase any of these items, would love if you consider shopping through my links down below. Thanks, and I'll catch you in my next video.